Welcome back everyone. We finally got our hands on the iPhone SE 2 and what I can tell you is it's much more better looking in person than it is in real life. Totally joking. That didn't make any sense, but we're going to be comparing it to the iPhone 8 and seeing, whether you should upgrade from your iPhone 8 currently to the iPhone SE 2, whether you should just go buy the iPhone SE 2 or maybe you should just buy the older iPhone 8 and save some money, Now in the used market, obviously the iPhone SE 2 just came out, so it's still costing that $400. But the iPhone 8 costs about $250 on Amazon, so not quite half the price, but about $150 cheaper. So I'll leave both these linked down below from Amazon. If you want to pick them up from there, you can help support the channel at the same time. But another thing, I'm giving away an iPhone SE 2, the red one. So if you want to pick that up, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel and follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Both those links will be down in the description, so you can follow me there and enter the giveaway. But looking on the front of both these phones, now obviously what I'll say is if you have all the money in the world, pick up the iPhone SE 2. Between both of these, the iPhone SE 2 is a tremendous phone and it's the better offering between both of these for sure. But I think I have a different opinion if you currently own the iPhone 8 or maybe if you're on a really tight budget, because in some cases maybe the iPhone 8 might be the better value per dollar. Now looking on the front, both of these phones have the same exact 4.7 inch panel. They're both 750 by 1334 and they both have True Tone display. They both have True Tone technology, which is perfectly fine. The iPhone SE 2 does not have any Force Touch or anything like that, where the iPhone 8 actually does have Force Touch. You have 3D Touch on that, so that's a really big difference between both of these. Actually, it's not really that big, but it's weird that you have a capable feature like the iPhone 8 on Force Touch. You have that on the iPhone 8 where you don't have that on the iPhone SE 2, but you still have haptic feedback, which is still good enough for a lot of people. Now the panels on both of these, like I said, are almost exactly the same, which is not a bad thing at all. That's actually a pretty good thing. Having a panel like that isn't really the worst case scenario. Apple has made a really decent IPS panel on both these phones, and on top of that, with having True Tone display on it, that really adds kind of some more depth in those visuals when you're looking at those screens. So yeah, it might not be the best looking phone at the end of the day, but I still think the panel for the most part still holds up for a lot of people out there. Now there's quite a bit of bezel all around the display. You have the speaker grill up top and you have the home button on the bottom, and I will say in this day and age, I think it's pretty practical to have some type of fingerprint sensor. With Face ID, I always have to take my mask off because we're all in quarantine. When we go outside, I always have to take my mask off and scan it that way or type in the passcode. With having a fingerprint sensor, that actually helps out a lot. Now, we're supposed to be wearing gloves too, which sometimes, is whatever, but obviously wear gloves and everything. But if you're in the house or something, just being able to do that would be much better, I think, on the long run. They both have lightning ports at the bottom. On the back, almost the same exact type of setup, except the iPhone 8's Apple logo is kind of towards the top, and the iPhone SE 2's Apple logo is kind of in the center, so a little bit of a difference right there. Again, not the end of the world, but you're kind of getting the overall better looking phone, I think, on the iPhone SE 2, even though they look exactly the same. There's something about that middle Apple logo that looks so much better than having that one on the top. But again, not that big of a deal. They both have the exact same IP certification, IP67 dust and water resistance, so you can go up to 1 meter of water for 30 minutes. And in terms of everything else on the outside, they are almost exactly the same, so no major differences for sure. All the main differences are really internally, so the major differences, it being faster, the somewhat better camera on the back and things like that. So in terms of the outside, you're not going to see any visual differences, but let that not be a deterrent for you to not upgrade, you know what I mean? So that pretty much covers it up in the outside. Now hitting on the software, this is also going to be a pretty major difference between both of these. So the iPhone 8 started off with iOS 11. We are able to upgrade it to iOS 13.4. I've done a lot of comparisons on a lot of reviews for the iPhone 8 on iOS 13, just every general version of it. And the iPhone SE 2, and it's probably going to be going a little bit further. It's going to be getting iOS 14, iOS 15 possibly, and maybe even iOS 16, who knows? We really don't know up until then, but I think it's going to be lasting for quite a bit of time for sure. With the iPhone SE 2 started off with iOS 13, and it's going to be getting a lot more versions of software. It's going to be lasting for a very long time, and since it has the same chipset as the iPhone 11 and 11 Pro, it's probably going to be lasting for as long as those phones too, which is going to be really cool. So in terms of software, you're going to be gaining a lot more versions of software on the iPhone SE 2 over the iPhone 8 by far. So in terms of software, you're definitely going to be getting a better experience on the iPhone SE 2 for sure. Now hitting on these specs and the performance on these, now I'm going to be doing a quick speed test here, but I will be doing a full in-depth speed test here soon, probably within a week or two. So keep a look down on the channel so you guys don't miss that at all. But very soon, probably within the next week or two, I'll have a full speed test between both of these. But the iPhone 8 had the Apple A11 Bionic chip, X-Core CPU, and there were 2 different models, and each one of those had 2 gigs of RAM, where the iPhone SE2 has that Apple A13 Bionic chip, the same thing as the iPhone 11 X-Core CPU, and there's 3 different models, and each one of those models has 3 gigs of RAM. So you're getting an additional gig of RAM, which is really, really cool, and I do really like that. But I kind of wish it had 4 to kind of match the iPhone 11, but again, it's not that big of a deal. So let's go and get on with the speed test. Alright everyone, welcome to the comparison. Hopefully this is straight enough. I don't know if this angle is good or not, but we'll figure it out and we'll work with it. But I have all the apps pretty much cleared out in the background. I did run it in 2.2 benchmark score, which I'll show you guys in a second, which is pretty surprising. But this is a quick one, so I'm not going to go too in depth. Let's do the App Store. 3, 2, 1. Surprisingly, they were about the same. Oh, and the iPhone SE2 was on the right. The iPhone 8 is on the left. Forgot to mention that. So App Store pretty much almost the same. Let's go and load up something in Safari. I'll load up apple.com. 3, 2, 1. And actually, I think the iPhone 8 loaded that one up a little bit faster. Not too crazy of a difference, but that one was that. So those are enough for those ones. I have a lot of these third-party apps that I'll go ahead and do. And I'll go ahead and transfer these over to the next page real quick. You can do Facebook. 3, 2. Let's do Twitter. 3, 2, 1. iPhone 8, surprisingly, I actually got into that one faster. Facebook, 3, 2, 1. And I think the SE2 was just a little bit faster there. Doodle Jump, 3, 2, 1. I might have to, okay, don't allow. Let's see which one loads up faster. I guess the SE2 was a little bit faster there. Let's do Fruit Ninja, 3, 2, 1. Oh, this one did have a little bit of a pop-up, but for sure in the beginning with the SE2 was definitely in the lead. I really hope we don't get any more pop-ups. Let's do Stack, 3, 2, 1. And this one was able to get into the ad definitely faster, so for sure SE2 won there. Snake versus Blocks, 3, 2, 1. And it's looking like the SE2 might be the faster one, and it was the faster one, luckily. So we do have a green background here that is very, very important to note. Netflix again, 3, 2, 1. And a little bit faster on the SE2, not like a crazy amount, but just a little bit faster than the iPhone 8. Instagram, 3, 2, 1. SE2 a little bit faster. Snapchat, 3, 2, 1. iPhone 8 actually a little bit faster there. That's also kind of surprising. Let's do Paper IO 2, 3, 2, 1. And iPhone SE2 definitely a little bit faster. Now I'll go ahead and end it off with the Real Racing 3, 3, 2, 1. Now hopefully we don't have to download anything on either of these phones. I think the iPhone 8 should be good. I just did it on the SE2 as well, so hopefully they both will be good. I don't know why the brightness keeps going up on here. I turned automatic brightness off, but as you can see, the iPhone SE2 did load into it faster. The iPhone 8 is still loading. It's definitely taking quite a bit of time on this phone. The SE2 was definitely ahead. I'm not really too sure what's going on with the iPhone 8, but we'll give it a couple more seconds. And we actually do load into it. So I thought at first it was like a loading problem, but it doesn't look like it. And iPhone SE2 is ready to go, and eventually we do get into it on the iPhone 8, so definitely quite a bit of difference in the speed comparison when it comes down to these huge games. That was actually really surprising, so once I do my full comparison, I guess we'll see what the differences are. So ultimately what I can tell you is the speed test, I do think the iPhone SE2 is faster, but really you're going to see the bigger differences when it comes to the big intensive games like Real Racing 3. That one definitely loaded up faster on the SE2 by a noticeable amount. The other apps like Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook, there weren't really like those many differences between them. So the SE2 I think is the faster one for sure. So that pretty much covers up the speed test. Now that we're back, we're going to be doing a camera test, a full camera test as well. I briefly hit on into this video, but again, in order for me to kind of break it down as thoroughly as possible, I will do a full separate camera test so you guys can see what the differences are between both. But they both have 12 megapixel lenses on the back, which is really cool. You can do 4K at 60 frames, which is also really awesome. However, there is a big upgrade with the iPhone SE2 camera, and it's pretty much the same exact camera lens as the iPhone XR, which is actually pretty cool. You have portrait mode on this camera as well, which is really, really awesome. On the iPhone 8, we didn't have that, but on the iPhone SE 2020, we have that capability capability, which is really cool. And the camera quality seems pretty good for the most part on both. Of course, the 11 Pro might be the better one between all these, but still, the iPhone SE 2 is a decent upgrade over the iPhone 8. On the front, 7 megapixel sensors on both, and they're almost the exact same camera setup for the front camera. So in terms of that really pretty much covers it. But like I said, I'll be doing a full separate camera test between both these very soon, hopefully within the next 2 weeks. So keep it locked down so you don't miss that. Now, in terms of the battery life, they both have almost the exact same battery between both of them, 1821 mAh. They both have wireless charging too. What I will tell you though is that I think if these were both, 100% battery life, the iPhone 8 might actually have the better battery life between both of these, just because it is a little bit underclocked and it's just a little bit less powerful. The Apple A13 chip, for some reason, Apple actually underclocked it. But still, I think even at that point, you might have a better battery life on the iPhone 8 than on the iPhone SE 2. So kind of one thing to keep in mind. Again, I'll do a separate battery test too, maybe on my second channel if you guys want to see that. But I guess we'll figure it out at some point. So to end off the video, what I will tell you though is that, like I said before, if you have all the money in the world, the iPhone SE 2 is the way to go. But if you currently own an iPhone 8, it's still a very good, capable phone for the most part. But another thing to keep in mind is that if you have an iPhone 8 or if you want to get one of these, getting an iPhone 8 might be a better value per dollar. Even though the iPhone SE 2 has a newer chipset and all this stuff, the iPhone 8 is still a very capable phone in 2020, and I think even for the next year or two, as long as this phone is still getting supported, you're good. And this phone falls under that checkring jailbreak, which is really cool as well. The iPhone SE 2 does not qualify under it as far as we know, so I think that really pretty much covers it for the most part, you guys. If you have any other questions or anything, leave it down in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys could hit that. Also, check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel, all those links are linked down below. I'd really appreciate if you guys would check it out. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.